to Mr. Safarov for him to tackle Article 6 on trafficking and exploitation and prostitution. You have the floor for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, dear Chair. Assalamu alaikum. Khush Omadet. Let me warmly welcome His Excellency Mr. Muzaffar Ashurian and Minister of Justice, Head of Delegation, and Ambassador Mr. Sharaf Sheralizoda, Ambassador, and all honorable Tajikistan delegation members. Let me at the same time congratulate with the 7th periodic report of the government and express my deep gratitude of the statement of the Head of Delegation, which includes the main points of the development state women's rights policy. Tajikistan adopts the main international conventions on the prevention of trafficking and national action plan which answers to the international standards and international legislation acts, includes the training of the judges and law enforcement agencies in the academic policy. Created the state shelters under the Republican Center of Social Service of victims of human trafficking and victims of domestic violence, and introduced the social orders especially with support of civil society organizations. However, problems of the victims' identification are not just trafficking as the victims of the sexual violence, but at the same time are victims of the forced labor in the list of the foreign countries. We must eliminate the victims internally of trafficking in the foreign countries. And it's not just a problem of question of citizens of Tajikistan. But what about the transit trafficking role of Tajikistan? Unfortunately, there are open problems of forced into the prostitution and access to the victims to the state shelters and health, social, legal services. We need to underline the non-effective implementation of the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Crime and its protocols. Please, how does government support comprehensive victim care and service and NGO management dedicated trafficking shelters throughout the country? How many state and NGO shelters are managing the rehabilitation of the victims? What efforts have been made to promote the opening of new crisis centers and shelters to assist victims of trafficking with medical, psychological, social, and legal assistance? Please provide data disaggregated by sex, age, nationality, and geographical area on the number of victims and survivors of the trafficking in the past 5 years, especially of the cases registered under court decisions under Article 130.1 and 167 of the Criminal Code. How many cases are registered on the women and girls forced labor in rural areas? What measures and programs have been developed to protect women labor migrants from the labor exploitation and slavery? Protection of women and girls migrants workers from exploitation is the main point in the regional level at the same time, because you are around the geographical situation of Tajikistan is not so good in this way. There are so many conflict situations, there are so many problems on this point. Please provide information on the hotline. Is this free, non-paid hotline? Is it fully covers the territory of the country and each language of the different languages working? What about human organs trafficking, which are regionally developed in these countries, in Asia especially? And last question for me, very important, you ratified the main international agreements, especially on this point, but at the same time you have problems in the inter-country adoption questions, adoption in the procedure especially. What about when state plan to ratify protection of the children and cooperation aspect of inter-country adoption and increase legal measures against trafficking? We say about the Hague Convention, which adopted in 1993. Thank you very much.